Hello. When we're working with photographs, we often want to work on a part of the photograph rather than the whole photograph. So for example, if we go here, I go layer, new adjustment layer, and down to say brightness and contrast, and let's bring that up. Here we go, and they say I'm working on the blue and I want that to be add more contrast, so I say turn this up. It may be affecting the rest of the picture. I would rather only cover a certain area of it. So let's delete that. And what we do is we use selections. First of all, just cover the simplest tool, so I won't try and be clever. I'm just going to show you how the tools work. So if I go over here where it says rectangle marquee tool, right click on that. We've got these other tools, and at the bottom is freehand selection tool. And when photo editors first came out, that's pretty much all you had. But so what we do with this is we draw so around it. You can see it's pretty difficult to do. I'm using a mouse here, and you'd have to be really careful, and even with a tablet that's difficult. But let's just say it looks something like this. Yeah, it's not the thing properly. There are much better ways to select, and with those are covered in other videos. But just to show the effect, what I can do with this, I've got an area selected. Now I'm going to just choose for first of all a paintbrush. Let's say there we go, and we've got red selected here as the foreground colour. So when I paint, I can paint over this, and it makes it more red. And notice I'm painting here. If I try painting outside the selection, it doesn't happen. It only works within the selection itself. So in other words, the selection, which is marked out by these areas around the outside, the dotted lines that's moving, it's called the marquee, or rather, I think a rather nice name is marching ants. So these marching ants marquee tell us where everything we do is going to be inside this area. So I'll just Control Z to undo this a couple of times. There we go. And let's do this again. Let's bring that back, and we'll do it again just to show you how this happens with layers as well and other ones. So if I go layer, new adjustment layer, and go back to that brightness and contrast again, and bring this up. Now, as you might expect from the way we painted it, if you turn up the contrast here or change the brightness or whatever, it only affects the selected area. Something worth noting with this is this has appeared here, and if you look at this bit here, this bit is called the mask, the black and white within that. And within this, what happens is the black says don't apply the effect here, white says do. So this is a miniature of the whole screen, and the white bit shows that we can, if I alt click on that, you can see there it is again. Yeah, that's the selected area, so the white is the only area that's applied. So let's go back to the beginning with this. So I'll click on the history and just turn that right back there. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is look at, if I right click on here and click on the rectangular marquee tool, now I'm just drawing rectangles, which is sometimes useful. But what we're going to look at here are these buttons up here. So if I click on new, then if I draw a rectangle, you can see there it's selected just that shape that I've done. And if I draw that again there, the first one's disappeared. If I wanted to keep both of them, I click on add. Now it adds each time. I can draw more. So, and you can even overlap, and it just connects them all together. If you look at the cursor there, holding it against the sky, see the little plus on it, that tells you that you're in add mode, and of course you'll find out when you start drawing. This is particularly useful if you're trying to select a whole area and you've missed a bit, and you add a bit more, so you do it a bit at a time. And building up a selection rather than trying to do it all at once can be a good way of doing it. The opposite, if you've overdone it, if you've done a bit, you want to cut out, is you click on the subtract. Now the subtract takes things away, and you can see there's a minus. Notice here, if I click and I drag here, I'm not drawing any visible rectangle, but it is there. So if I click up here, then drag down here, as it goes into this square bit here, see it's taking it away. So subtract is a useful way of removing bits, but when you're clicking and dragging, then you're not seeing anything. This can be confusing if you've left it on subtract and you come back to it another time. It comes back where you left it, and you're then trying to draw something, and it's not working. It's because you left in subtract. So always check up here first of all, or look at the cursor and look for the little minus sign there. The last one, your intersect, is a kind of reverse subtract. It's like subtract, that if you try to draw something, it will only show you, it won't show you where the actual drawing is going, because it's not doing anything. But if I start here and draw something, look, first of all I'm drawing, it looks like I'm doing a new or something because everything has disappeared, or like the subtract. But when I go into the picture here, there, that's where we had it before. See, that's part of the full selection we just had. But now, like a reverse subtraction, it keeps the bit where I overlap as opposed to throwing it away like a subtraction. We use that occasionally. Mostly we use these. Personally, I often leave things on add, because if I get rid of the selection, when I'm drawing something now, if I start off with add, I've just selected a tool, say, and I draw something, then it starts at the beginning and it lets me add bits, so I can build up the selection one at a time. And if I want to get rid of it, I'll do a select and there we go, deselect. Notice there's Control D. Control D is very useful to remember. It's one of those things where the keystrokes it's worthwhile putting that into your brain, because you'll use it a lot, and that gets rid of everything so that I can start again. I could have clicked on new and started again here, and it knocks that out, and then change to add, but that it doesn't work so much. The other tip is when you're using add here, if I hold down the Alt key, notice the cursor there, the plus changes to an add. The plus changes to a minus, plus goes to minus, plus to minus here as I'm pressing and letting go of the Alt key. So if I create something here, if I want to subtract a bit of it, hold on the Alt key, drag over that, I've cut it out. So I can switch between add, rather than clicking up here, I can just keep my finger on the Alt key just to take things away. So overall then, that's how the selection works. There's much more to it, and I'll cover more in other videos, but I think we've done enough for now in this video. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope that helps.